Hey everybody, it's Jillian. It is Jillian. So yeah, some pretty amazing stuff the last couple days. I mean, I'm going through my own evolution. I learned a lot of stuff actually the last couple days. People that were on the Jilly Juiced a few years ago are coming back into the fold. Um, so yeah, I want to welcome back Sherry Lemieux. I mean, she's a name from the blast from the past. And she really had something to contribute the other day because I went through an evolution where actually I smiled in my photos. I don't usually like to smile because for me, looking good, having an image that look good, I have to look kind of sexy, okay? And that's kind of always been my usual go-to in photos is instead of looking like a real person, which I've been preaching, right? Um, I try to put on that little cover of looking sexy with the duck lips and all that stuff. And so yesterday I finally was able to see myself in a very different light, like seriously see myself in a very different light. And I took a photo that had a little bit of filter on it, but not a lot, but you could still see the youth and vitality in my face. I don't have, like you can see really, like, I don't have any skin conditions. I don't wear any makeup. But when you are taking like a still photo, it's like you're kind of like stuck in suspension. So you don't want being stuck in suspension have weird things. But I still smiled in it. And yeah, that photo actually looked like the photos of my youth. It looked like the photos of when I didn't have all of the issues compound all at once. And so it was a really telltale photo. And Sherry saw it and she's like, oh, wow, it looks like she said, you have your puppy face back. And I'm like, you know what? That's so true because my dog got her puppy face back. And so that was very apropos considering that my dog went from the usual run-of-the-mill pit bull from the shelter that was going through its cycles. And do you know that in the next 5 or 6 years, a dog will pass away at some point, especially if it's had a really hard life. But no, my dog Sugar has gotten her puppy face back, and it's through the Jilly Juice. And so that was very apropos. And so that's awesome. And then I been looking at different things like cults and secret societies, like I'm trying to write about the Freemasons and the Catholic Church. And there's so many ways of which you can spin the Freemasons and the Catholic Church. But I want to know why. Why do we have the Freemasons and the Catholic Church? Why do we have secret societies? Why do we have so many? Why do we revere and create gods and demigods and people to revere? Why do parents want to be gods? Well, that's the reason why people fight over their kids, because everyone wants to fight over being a god to somebody, controlling somebody, something, whatever, right? And I'm like, I don't want to be a god to anyone. I don't want to be controlling anyone, really. I want people to get to an evolution, but I know that it's not up for me to decide who will evolve as fast as I want them to evolve. Everybody has the path to do it. They'll do it in their own time. I get that. And I don't want to be anybody's cult leader. I don't want to be anybody's doctor and all that stuff. And so I realized the birth of any kind of relationship, I don't care what it is sound. Conception comes from sound. And that's also, too, for people in my world that are being contacted by trolls. If you respond to anyone through private messenger, you are given the allowance for a birth of a relationship. That is why it's so important. If you don't want to relate to someone, you don't respond. Now, people will automatically do it because they think that they should relate to everybody. Sometimes you have to have discernment to know your boundaries. When someone's writing a bunch of crap about somebody else, or they're just writing a bunch of crap that says evil empire or this or that, and they want to go and respond, guess what? You gave life to that person. You gave life to that idea. You gave life to that whole relationship. And so if you don't want to give life to anything, you don't respond with any sound. That's why people who are mute, who don't communicate, okay, who they don't have much of an influence. When you don't have words to be able to express yourself, you're not going to have much influence. You'll be a parroter. When a dog can't articulate, it can only communicate through different octaves of grunts. Like I can tell when my dog gets frustrated because when she's trying to dig to make her bed, she has a higher pitch sound. And I'm like, Sugar, why are you like whining? And because whenever she makes her bed at night, she always whines. I don't know why it happens. I think she just like, why is my bed always messed up? Why can't I have my bed? I think that's what she's saying in her head. Like she's frustrated that her bed isn't made the way it's supposed to. So then she goes and makes her bed for like freaking 5 minutes. So I gotta watch her make her bed and hear her whine while she does it. But like when she has to go to the bathroom, you know, she goes to the door and she stares at me. Or when she wants to sit with me on the couch and I'm sitting on the other couch, my husband sits on the couch that she wants to sit on, she'll just stare at me. And so my husband goes, okay, Sugar, come over here. Come sit on the couch with me. And so we can kind of tell through her actions and through sometimes her voice, like when she wants to eat food, like our food off our plate, she'll whine at us, which we allow, okay? So because we've given her that latitude that we share our food with our dog. So because we're a family. And so, yeah, she'll start like, you know, roughing, like going rough, and getting all excited and getting her whole body involved. And so she has the ability to communicate, but only for her baser level instincts. She really can't enunciate what she wants and she can't really develop like an innovation. She can only respond to her environment. Okay. And then when someone said like Laura, said something about like what I wanted was one of those types of sound buttons that have colors on it, which it has writing, but the writing is not really going to make a difference. It has sound and color. And maybe dogs don't even see color, they hear sound, okay? And so when you have different buttons with different sounds, and one sound says, okay, you'll get food, like Pavlov's dogs, you can train any animal that's basically, can be conditioned by surviving with sound, with food. And so, yes, a dog can be able to communicate through sound by if it presses this button, it'll get a dog yum. If it presses this button, it'll go outside. If it presses this button, it'll do this. Okay, so animals know how to keep them alive through sound. All sound is what then carries a note, a word. And that's why music is so influential. Because music can also elicit certain reactions. It corresponds to certain frequencies in your hormones, of which why some music I can't deal with, like really hard rock metal, and other music I'm like, oh, this is so awesome, like contemporary, slow music, love music, all that stuff. And then when there's words attached to the music, that's another level of programming. So you have to realize there are so many layers of programming, but it first starts with sound. And when you want a relationship to someone or something, you first start using guttural noises, like the caveman. They were going, you know, just like almost like a dog, you know. And then at some point, evolution, the alien intervention, somebody gave somebody the divine intelligence to be able to enunciate, to be able to say, okay, when you use your tongue, la, 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 you can say love, 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 hate, 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 you know, attack, 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 this person, the demon, that I mean, then you start creating a language, and then the language is like a note, it's words. They carry chemistry, and they're like magic. And yes, they create realities, as well as cults. And this is where the secret societies have come in, because they figured out there's different levels of people's understanding how to utilize their tongue and words and octaves and inflection. And so, yeah, the whole thing with the parables and the riddles and all the stories. And when you read books like, you know, Dante's Inferno, there's so many footnotes. You're just like, what the heck? Can't people just speak plainly? Can't they just say what they mean what they say, and that's it? That's always been my frustration with anyone that drops scripture, anyone that speaks in riddles, anyone that, and not just like hard words. I mean, there's a difference between like words that are college words that you can just go look, like existentialism. I didn't really know what existentialism, I knew it had something to do with psychology. But when then John actually kind of broke the seal on me, where he actually posted the definition. Now, I could have looked up the definition myself, but I had no reason to. But he gave me a reason to understand the root word of existentialism, which is the study of existence. And I'm like, oh my God, really? That was like, oh, whoa, a wake up. He wasn't hiding behind the word saying, okay, I'm going to be all superior and use the word existentialism as if I'm some like, you know, intellect that has a higher superiority. No, he's actually bringing things down to the level of the common language. He is elevating things that have been stuck in parables and riddles and in stories and elevate it to the common language. And that's why we have people who think themselves as better than others because they have access to esoteric knowledge, and then they commodify it and make you pay for it or make you feel bad for not knowing it. And that's huge in the activism world. They've taken the ideology that they have some kind of higher knowledge, some secret knowledge that you don't have, and if you don't follow them, then you are stupid, bad, wrong, whatever. Instead of actually educating people with actual facts, not your perception, not your story, your parable, or your freaking riddle, but actual freaking facts, then you're going to elevate things that you think are being hidden into the common knowledge. But that is why I've extricated myself from the activist world, because they take on cult-like tendencies, which there's two definitions of cult. There is a culture where you have accepted practices with arts, humanities, and whatever, and then you have an actual rigid group where it is where you have someone that's a dictator to some extent, but there's money involved. What else? There is a very highly orthodox, dogmatic religion involved. And you could say, oh, Jilly Juice is like a cult, which everything that has some kind of belief system that if you don't believe or if you don't follow in line, I don't want somebody diluting my thought process with them trying to convert me. So yes, if you don't fall in line with my line of thought and you want to keep debating me, yeah, you're out. I'm sorry. But I don't try to keep you in. If you don't agree with what I agree with, then that's fine. You go find your own cult and your own stuff, and we don't have to cross paths, and I don't need to relate to you, and everyone's happy. Okay, so, but hey, it is what it is. You have an ideology that you want to convert me with. You're just as culty as I am. All right. And so, yeah, so, but what I'm trying to do is elevate all the secret BS that people think that they're so superior, they know, and elevate it to the common knowledge. Why do I say elevate? Because why do I use the word elevate for something to bring to common knowledge? Because that's why secret societies exist. These people are no different. When you have all these elite out there that play these secret society games, and you have all these groups that play, oh, I'm so much more superior and woke than this person, they use certain kind of words, but they're just as infallible and immortal if they're not doing Jilly Juice, right, as anyone else. So the only way they can feel like they're better than somebody else is to speak in riddles, is to speak in parables, is to speak in stories that most people really don't know. And that's what I think the Bible does. The Bible, when people drop scripture, that's what I always had a triggered reaction when someone drops scripture, like either in my group or on my page or anywhere else. It's because they're speaking in riddles or trying to cast spells, of which I don't really know, because I'm like, these words are kind of being put together in a not a usual form that I'm used to. And, when you're using Latin and Pig Latin and all these different, things, you're casting spells on people. What's wrong with plain speak? Oh, but it's not intellectual enough. It's not superior enough. It's not showing that you are good breeding and education. And I was kind of raised in that, where, jargon was the name of the game. If you didn't speak in a specific way, you're not showing that, you're showing where you came from. Oh, you come from this portion. You're not educated in this thing, and you're not educated in that thing. And it was a line of demarcation to show specific socioeconomic statuses. And college does that. College creates that superiority complex. Anyone that gets a degree will fall into that esoteric way of being where you feel like you are elevated above other people, rather than you taking your knowledge and elevating it to the common knowledge. No, you want to keep it secret in a way between your cohorts. And so that's what college does at the different levels of degrees. And so I'm trying now to say, you know what? I'm taking the mystery out of everything. There's no reason to go fall into all the parables, all the riddles, and all the stories. Here, this is the facts of life. This is the facts of death. You're going to have all these different industries are going to do their different things, but here's the best way to get to people's, what they want, what they need, is you give them the facts. And then the story or the truth that you spin it to why you are going to be a better company than other companies. The fact that you're trying to give life, you're promoting life. You know the laws of life of a company and the laws of life of a human. And that's all. You don't need to play the games of, oh, well, here's a story of the chicken and the egg, or here's a story of this, which is so famous out there. That's why there's so many stories and so many spells cast over humanity, so many allegories, so many businesses that are contingent upon you knowing how to spin stories. And so, you know, it's good to know words, but it's good to speak plain, in my opinion, because then you're not trying to force someone to decipher what you're saying. I think speaking plain gives you egalitarianism, it gives you humbleness, and it makes you grounded. But no, when you are trying to make yourself superior because of your knowledge, because you found something on a website, or you're following some guru out there that fancies themselves to be more superior than other people, and then you start dropping jargon, whether it's industry jargon from some kind of esoteric group. I actually took classes in an esoteric group called Landmark Education, because they've taken all the different quotes and they've taken all the different tools and technology from different philosophers, and then they condensed it all into a course that then starts wowing people. Like, they're producing magic. And the group think, where everyone gets together and like the activists out there or in some kind of convention hall, all that electricity then reinforces whatever they're trying to get across, which it helped me a lot figure out the next level. So it's not like that it was bad, no, but it's a way of manipulation. It's a type of manipulation because they know the power of words. They know most people's thought process. People get caught in a loop. They get caught in wanting to socially climb, or they want to occupationally climb, and so they'll do almost anything to get it. And if that means that they have this esoteric knowledge that they can just drop with only people that know about it, and that's why there are like dating groups for people that do go to those courses, or that do have practice a specific, you know, type of stuff. And so even the Jilly Juice people are like, well, I don't know how to find someone that's in the Jilly Juice world. That's gonna be very hard to find. You know, you can still appreciate people who don't do Jilly Juice and appreciate them for what they are offering to the world now, because even prior to Jilly Juice, we had some amazing people who made great, you know, avenues for the world. And so, you know, enjoy your husband, enjoy your wife, enjoy the people in your world. If they don't respect you and there is no evolution with that relationship, then you cut it off. Not because they're not doing Jilly Juice, because you figured out through Jilly Juice that there wasn't a relationship. It was a one-sided relationship, or it was a very destructive relationship. And so you'll find out through Jilly Juice that some of the relationships you had really were not serving you. And so you'll make your choices. Not because they weren't doing J Juice, because you realize that the reality of the situation. And so there are some beautiful people out there that you can know and get to know that are not doing J Juice. There are some beautiful ideologies out there that you don't have to try to convert them. You can accept them for what it is and enhance all the ideologies out there. There's no reason to convert anyone, but enhance what people are trying to say and do if it's life promoting. And maybe whatever you're enhancing to them, they may be like, oh, wow, this person's pretty awesome. Where do they come from? What do they do? What is their influence? Wow, they're so like uplifting. They're so amazing. They're not attacking. They're not saying Bill Gates is this. They're not saying Zuckerberg is that. They're not acid that is dripping, that is, you know, trying to cannibalize somebody. I mean, that's what I'm trying to promote in my Jilly Juice world is, and I've gone through my levels of evolution. And let me tell you, it has been a crazy thing. And I see my own behavior. If you look at past videos, I'm just like, going through my emotions, and yes, cannibalizing people, whatever. But there is the beauty of balance. There is the beauty of understanding both sides of an argument. There is the beauty of understanding where the birth of any relationship comes from. It comes from sound. So if you don't want a relationship with a person, place, or thing, do not respond. Whether it's a troll, whether it's an idea, whether it's a belief system, whether it's a group of people, if you don't want any part of that world, then you don't respond to that world. But many people want relationships to, you know, different industries that they don't believe in. And so guess what? They respond with sound. And so they birth new babies of that specific ideology every single day they post on Facebook. Oh, I don't want any relationship with that. I don't believe in that, but I'm going to go keep producing sound and responding and creating new babies every day. And so that's why it's amazing with JJus. People that you don't like JJus, they are on my page every single day. They want to relate so bad, but I've also muted them. So the only thing they can respond to is through their emojis, like a dog. And so that's why Facebook is so amazing. It's like a magic wand where you can mute somebody. Oh, if they have access to your information to be able to respond with an emoji, you'll still see the energy, which is fine. You take that energy, you can convert it, but it's the spells, it's the words is what you are trying to mute. Because words cast spells, and they can be a spell, they can be a curse, they could be anything that you want it to be, so as long as you have the command of the English language. And so this is the power of creating realities, is understanding words and understanding how words are used, and then realizing that you can create any reality by using words in a different way. And so the real like architects of our society understand logic and reasoning. That's why it's part of college. It's English, logic, reasoning, comprehension. My mother was an English major. Well, no, duh. She wasn't really great with math, but my dad was great with math. My dad, was an engineer over, in biotech, overseeing the FDA processes of pharmaceuticals. So they both had a very balanced way of aligning with the same goal, is to redirect society based upon what academia wanted them to study and wanted them to promote, as well as what, the government, because pharmaceuticals are related to the government. Okay? Come on, sugar. Come on. Oh, you're invited. It's like my dog understands being invited. And so sound is the birth. And that's what with conception. With conception, okay, when two dogs, during mating season, you'll hear the birds, you'll hear the animals do their little thingies, okay? When someone is out there and on the prowl, like a girl or a boy, and it's a girl's around her time where she's like wants to conceive, and the guy is like, I need to go and drop seeds. You'll hear them. You'll smell them. They're in the bars. They're out there, different places trying to pick up girls. And so sound is so integral in conception, in reproduction. And then it's the notes, which those little symbols, that's the different octaves. That's what plucks your heartstrings. That's what plucks everything. That's what that gets people in the mood. And then the words is then bam. If you are good with music, or good with sound and good with words, you can have anyone wrapped around your little finger just like that. And that is also being exploited by those that understand sound and notes. And that's why the music industry is so powerful, because they understand that's the occultic word. Occultic world isn't like separate from science and mathematics and mainstream. No, it is science, mathematics, mainstream, English and journalism and all mainstream media. Occultic is in everything. But the word occultic is misdirecting people, thinking that it's compartmentalized and there's some obscure little, secret society. Oh no, honey. It is so right in your face. It is on Facebook. It is anyone that wants to convert somebody. They are using sound or using words. They don't even know. Some people don't even know that that's that kind of power they have, because they don't even understand it. They are just reacting. They're like, I don't agree with this, so I'm going to react, and I'm going to cast spells everywhere, and I'm going to curse people everywhere, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And then guess what? They destroy themselves in the process, because their karma is to destroy Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, an idea and a thought process. And guess what? When you're out to destroy other people, you're out to destroy yourself. And that's what makes me cringe on people on the JJus who are still stuck in the activist world. Is they're still out to destroy while they're trying to create life. That's going to be a very difficult thing. Okay? Because I know there's pluses and minuses in your body, right? But if you have more death in your world than you have life, then what do you think is going to win out? If every day you're on Facebook and you're only doing a little bit of JJus, because JJus is very, very, very strong and very, very in depth, and you'll feel pain, you're going to want to anesthetize yourself with activism, because that gives you a rush. Oh, if you could be right today, and you can go and convert someone today, and you can make someone wrong today, and you can destroy someone today, then hey, great, that's so much better than feeling the pain of evolution. That's why people turn to activism, because they don't want to feel the pain of their evolution. Because they're blaming their pain of evolution on Mark Zuckerberg, on Bill Gates, on the pharmaceuticals. Instead of just evolving and just letting it be, your body will determine what needs to be destroyed and what needs to be promoted. Because that's the intelligence of the purpose of your body. Where the words and where the sounds came from to begin with doesn't even matter, because when you think about it, all the factors or all the different elements were out there in the universe. What was the catalyst? What was the catalyst to bring together, to bring the sound everywhere and then attract? Because sound attracts, right? When you hear a flailing, dying fish, like someone wailing on Facebook about their life, how horrible it is, you know how many people are attracted to that dying energy? So many people. That's why it's so lucrative for people to say, oh, I'm so sick. Oh, my life sucks. Or, oh, I have this cancer. Or, oh, someone passed away in my world. And then you see so many people gravitate and they take that person's energy, because that person can convert the energy, or they wouldn't be out there wailing on Facebook. And so sound in the universe, maybe it's a dying star. Maybe what attracts the creation is the fact that a star dies. So this is now some creation here going on, all right? This is stuff that I'm thinking of right on the fly. But I think when a star dies, it might attract life. And that's probably where life came from. Now, as far as the intelligence of the purpose of life, well, viruses hold data. What makes a person? I don't even know who was the original person. I don't even know. Or the not even original person, the original intelligent being that's able to give power or give the existence of a person. I have no idea. Is that a God? But look, you can be your own God. So would you really want to say that, or are we just, the infinite geometry, the infinite circles, whatever, that, you have this one sound of a dying star that reverberates in the universe, and then all the things are around that dying star creating more stars and planets and dust and things, and then they go through their life cycles, and another star dies, and then you have planets and things, and then intelligent life, and then intelligent life is like, oh, I see, and captured everything and understood and compartmentalized, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, metals and whatever, and acids. And then they were like, okay, I'm going to go and play in a lab and put stuff together. But what would give them that thing to put stuff together? I don't even know. Even God makes mistakes, according to Charles Bragg and that tree with the breasts. Even God makes mistakes. Humans make mistakes. And then humans can be gods, of which, yes, you see in biotech, which means that if a human can be God and create something, you can be a god too and be able to sustain whatever was created in a lab. There is nothing organic in this world, okay? So just get that through your head, all of you guys that are activists. There is nothing organic in this world. And that's the esoteric knowledge that you're not really aware of. Is that there's nothing organic. Everything has been bioengineered or influenced in some way. Even you walking by a bunch of plants, you have now bioengineered a bunch of plants because your presence now gave the environment, like the viruses and whatever else that you are releasing, that is now influenced an environment, and it's going to change that environment forever. Okay? And so you have to get it that you, if somebody can create something in a lab, then you can maintain what was created and be an amazing freaking person. Amazing freaking person. But you have to get out of your own way. And that's the thing with J-Juice, is that we have now the discernment when to say, okay, I need to be dualistic and fight for my life when someone is in my house, on my doorstep, trying to hurt me, versus somebody that has an idea that you don't agree with, or someone is practicing something that you don't agree with, but they're like, next door, or they're like 10 miles away, which they have really no influence or any kind of, anything affecting you. But, oh, you made it your business. You made it your business. That person wants to get a vaccine. You made it your business. That person is practicing bad stuff, that the police need to get involved. You made it your business that you want to disagree with this person. And so you've given life to that because you made it your business. And so then when you have more of the same and you're destroying yourself, well, who do you have to blame? Basically you. And so I say, if you don't want to give birth to anything that you don't agree with, don't respond to it. Don't give it life, and don't Make a sound about it, because sound produces life. It really does. And I think the dying stars, where that first beginning dying star come from, I don't even know, okay? It's like, but does it even matter? But you realize how far back stuff goes. And how far back it goes that you can't even articulate where even the first dying star came from, if that is in fact what is the catalyst to life, is death. Yes, the catalyst to life is death. But what gave that life to begin with? That I don't even know. Have a good day. Happy Sunday.